Hello and to you all. Welcome into another edition of the PHNX D-Backs podcast, right here on PHNX. Of course, my name is Derek Montilla, occasionally known as the Pillsbury Doughboy, occasionally known as Lewis Rich, occasionally known as Daddy Fat Sacks. Those are all in my gambling circles. But you guys know
Sexy
me.
Red.
Yeah, that's right, Sexy Red Ski. But of course, you guys know me as your mayor. This man is my vice mayor, your thunderstick, the one and only Jesse Friedman. And we have a lot of stuff to talk about, Jesse. And there's not even any transactions that have happened. We just got a crazy amount to talk about, including Jesse getting into his nerdiest with survey results and data and numbers that he collected from you guys.
Yeah, but I'm disappointed because Jacob didn't make pie charts.
He's so mad about the pie charts.
And I really wanted pie charts.
The pie charts was a whole issue, a whole ass issue. But of course, before we get to that, we do have some news that it might appear that Jorge Soler to the Arizona Diamondbacks is becoming a real possibility, Jesse, and I am trying to be okay with it. I'm trying to be okay with it.
Still hung up on the JD Martinez thing.
My brain and my heart are two different things, but what do we know about Jorge Soler coming to the Diamondbacks, potentially?
Yeah. This was Robert Murray. He does a show every couple days here on YouTube, and it's called the Baseball Insiders. And on that show, it's about halfway through yesterday, he said that the Blue Jays and the Diamondbacks are teams he's aware of that are involved in Jorge Soler. He talked about the New York Mets having been among that group at some point. He did express some doubt about the Mets, given that I think there was some report that they only wanted to spend $10 million more this offseason, and you wouldn't really expect Jorge Soler to sign for an average annual value lower than that. So yeah, Blue Jays and Diamondbacks are basically the two teams that he mentioned as being involved at this point. I don't know if finalists is necessarily a safe word to use at this point. It's a little bit unclear, but the Diamondbacks clearly have been involved in conversations for Jorge Soler. And he's not JD Martinez. I know a lot of people are hoping for him. But we touched yesterday on some of the reasons why Jorge Soler would be a good fit for the Diamondbacks in a lot of different ways. Yep. We talked yesterday about how projection systems favor Jorge Soler quite considerably over JD Martinez. Soler has some defensive flexibility. He can play some outfield for you. He's not a particularly good outfielder. He, in fact, is a quite poor outfielder at this point in his career.
Yeah, but at least he can play outfield.
He can play outfield. He can
occupy the position, and he can catch a ball.
Yes, I think so. I think he could do that.
It's the jury's still out on if JD Martinez can still do that or not. So that's definitely
JD Martinez hasn't been catching pop flies out there in a long time at this point.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you had Jorge Soler starting one day a week in the outfield or whatever, it certainly would not kill you. So there's a lot of reason why this could make sense for the Diamondbacks. We've had some, we haven't necessarily known if the Diamondbacks were willing to make the kind of investment that it would take. The team is already around $140 million in payroll. If they sign Jorge Soler, that probably goes up to 150, which is very much uncharted territory for the Diamondbacks. Would certainly represent a pretty big investment being made from ownership.
Two things that causes me to speculate that this move might be happening soon. One is that Robert Murray said on his show that he also that designated hitters would be moved soon. Like this was going to happen soon, and we were going to start seeing the market for designated hitters finally start to kind of dwindle down and have some of these free agents find homes. Also, from a source, it sounded like the Diamondbacks might be close to something happening soon. So all signs indicate that this might happen potentially here in the next week or so. Don't know if that's the case, but I will put my personal feelings aside and say Jorge Soler does give you more flexibility, obviously, than JD Martinez. The projections are better, and his numbers were really good. Do we have his graphic for his numbers from last year? There we go. There's his 2023 season. We already looked at Soler a number of times as a free agent target for this team, as a trade target, as whatever they could get to kind of bring him over. It really does feel like he would be a great fit to enhance the power of this team. He averaged 250 last year with a 512 slugging percentage and an 853 OPS, 36 glorious home runs, 75 RBI, and a 1.8 WAR. He also had a lot of injuries, Jesse. A lot of injuries. The man was broken in almost every possible way last season.
Yeah, well, it's kind of weird. Like Fox Sports has this injury tab for Major League players where they keep track of every injury report, I guess, that's made. And yeah, if you just look at that report, it has Jorge Soler like basically every bone in his body breaking at some point during 2023.
Some part of his body.
He also, I think it's that list, I think, overstates it a little bit. He still played 137 games. He was actually quite healthy in 2023 compared to 2022, where he only played about half the season, dealt with bilateral pelvis inflammation, which who hasn't been there?
Every single morning.
Derek knows exactly. Derek knows all about this. And he also had some back issues in 2022 that kept him out for considerable time. So he did miss quite a bit of time in 2022. In 2023, he had a right oblique strain toward the end of the year that kept him out for not all that long. It was pretty close to the minimum 10 days there. So yeah, he by and large for Jorge Soler, a guy who hasn't necessarily been on the field super consistently throughout his career, he's coming off a pretty healthy season.
Gabriel Ferreira in the chat says 5 years, $65 million. Let's get it done, Hazen. Is that the neighborhood of what you would think it would take?
That's a lot. Yeah, I don't think Jorge Soler is going to get 5 years. He's already 31 years old at this point. He's about to turn 32. So
3 years?
Yeah, I think it'll probably be 3 or 4 would be my guess. Maybe 3 with an option of some sort. Maybe the Diamondbacks would want to structure it kind of like they did the Lourdes deal, where it's a lower dollar value in year 1, and then it ticks up in years 2 and 3.
The splits against lefties and righties, though,
are extreme.
Yeah,
yes,
extreme.
Yeah, last year Jorge Soler slashed 277, 393, 688 against lefties. Pretty much, I haven't looked this up, but I imagine he was basically the best hitter in baseball against left-handed pitching last year. It's hard to do much better than a 1080 OPS and a 181 WRC plus. That's pretty remarkable production from that side. And then against righties, he was still productive, a 788 OPS, a 110 WRC plus. He certainly would bolster the Diamondbacks against lefties more so than he would against righties. I don't know if that 100% makes sense to me. We broke down kind of what the Diamondbacks have right now against righties and lefties, and it kind of looks to me that their lineup against lefties is maybe a tick better at this point.
Yeah.
But Jorge Soler is an upgrade on, against both righties and lefties and would be an asset for the team regardless. So if this deal gets done, it would be a huge addition to the Diamondbacks lineup for sure.
And you just have another guy mashing the ball, right? Like you bring in a guy that kind of takes that pressure a little bit off of Christian Walker to be their only power hitter. And their power kind of is spread around. I think I would prefer the way that they are, in regards to the fact that everybody there can kind of hit 20 to 30 home runs somewhere in that range.
Especially now that you have Suarez in the mix, too.
Right,
the D-backs have a lot of guys who could hit about 20 home runs.
It's funny you bring up Eugenio Suarez dating back to, I believe, 2017 as far as home run hitters. Our friend Patrick Lyons sent us a thing saying he would rank 6th amongst all Diamondbacks in home runs in that time frame dating back to 2017, something like that. He's definitely a guy that transaction happened. And when we're talking about projections for the Diamondbacks, we don't bring up Gino nearly enough, and what he can add to this team as far as power already there. But you have him, you have Christian Walker, and then you bring in a guy like Soler. That's a lot of power. There's a chance you could get close to 100 dingers out of those 3 guys, total. Yeah. And that's incredibly tantalizing when you take a look at this team and what they were able to produce last year in kind of a small ball role, creating runs, doing it with their legs, doing it by creating that chaos on the base path. Like,
Jorge Soler doesn't exactly fit like the Diamondbacks.
No, he does
mold,
not create
right?
chaos.
He doesn't create chaos in the same way that a lot of other guys on this team.
Yeah.
But yeah, if we look at his Savant page from 2023, that's certainly a pretty nice thing. a pretty nice thing to look at. There's a whole lot of red here, Derek. An xWOBA of 374.
Pour it in a 64-ounce cup for me. Let me drink it in. Let's go.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, this is it's not quite as bright red in certain areas as JD Martinez, but it also is not as bright blue in certain areas.
Very
JD
true.
Martinez a little more swing and miss there. But yeah, I look at a 15% barrel rate as that's really high.
Yeah.
Barrel rate, for those who may not know, think of these as just like the ideal batted balls. Like these are the ones that are consistently going for doubles and homers and whatnot.
Basically couldn't hit it any better than barreling up.
Yeah, it's good stuff. And he was at 15% there. That means that 15% of his batted balls were that. That's in the 91st percentile. For reference, Corbin Carroll and Ketel Marte were around 8% last year. Christian Walker, I think, around 11%. So Jorge Soler at 15%. He would become, by probably a considerable margin, the most formidable power hitter on this team.
There's something interesting there about his only weakness, which is essentially his whiff rate and his strikeout rate, right?
Yeah.
His chase percentage is not bad at all.
Yeah.
Neither is his walk rate at all. So it almost is like that's something. Some of these things are intangible. Some of these things are just something that guys do well, like barrel up the ball. But there's a potential that with some coaching that he could even perhaps make that strikeout rate a little bit better. And of course, you want him swinging for the fences, so he is going to strike out a lot when you are a power hitter that's swinging for the fences. I will absolutely take that. And considering what the rest of the team does well as far as getting on base, and they got a lot of guys that don't strike out quite like that it'll be a great combination should they pursue that. Now, it remains to be seen, but hopefully Robert Murray is correct. He also wanted us to know, I think we fall into the category as aggregators here, maybe a little bit. I don't know. We do report on the news, but we also aggregate at a time.
In this particular situation, yes.
We have to preface this by saying he said it was the one that made like the most logical sense. So he wasn't really saying he had any insider information, particularly that the Diamondbacks and Toronto Blue Jays are the ones. Like it just like it makes the most sense for what they're pursuing.
He did report, however, that the Diamondbacks and the Blue Jays have been involved in those conversations.
Yeah. He was saying logically, based on them being involved in the conversations and their needs, that those are the two right now that he feels like have the money to get Soler and the definite interest and the need there, right? Both of those teams are trying to keep up with what the other teams in their division are doing and are trying to improve themselves. The Diamondbacks have already done that. The Blue Jays maybe not so much and still are looking to do that. But I'm excited. I'm excited for that. And I will just say that, again, I joke a lot about JD Martinez. I just want the Diamondbacks to get somebody of this caliber, really, at the end of the day.
Yes.
I would be very happy even with Rhys Hoskins based on the fact that he could, maybe not have the power that someone like Soler has, but still a little bit more consistency and just somebody that can help this offense drive in runs. When they kind of fall flat at times, it seems like that right now that's what they need, is that big bat that can kind of get them out of that. So
it feels inevitable that it will happen soon because I'm going on vacation in a few days, and
that's our insider information. Yeah, I said I had an insider earlier. It's Jesse saying that he's going to go on a trip to Washington.
I will be
DC.
Gone from Saturday to Wednesday, and it is inevitable that
News
the Diamondbacks will make
Saturday afternoon about the acquisition of a DH, and then the press conference
will be on
Monday,
Tuesday.
Tuesday. Whatever it can do to ruin his vacation. So, but that is exciting, and hopefully the Diamondbacks are part of that talk. And again, even if they aren't the one that get Soler, even if he does end up with the Toronto Blue Jays, JD Martinez is still a very nice acquisition, and it would just make me happy, right? Like, and sometimes I'm selfish. I only care about me. So I think I win either way here. But we appreciate you guys being here right now on the PHNX Sports YouTube channel. Of course, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, make sure to do so now. Sign up for notifications. That way you don't miss when any of our shows go live, including ASU, which has just become the Territorial Cup fighting show. I don't know what's going on over there. There was a lot of screaming and yelling. We're much more amicable. We'll even welcome people like Maria, our friend who's our favorite Dodgers fan, to this show. Fans from other beats, other teams can come watch us as well. Of course, if you're a listener, make sure you subscribe. We're thankful for you. We appreciate you guys. Downloads have been great lately, so we do appreciate all of you guys listening. We also appreciate your reviews. Any 5-star reviews definitely help us out, so we thank you for those. Of course, if you are watching right now, make sure to drop a like. That's what Gabby would want you to do. That's what we all want you to do. And those are our attaboys, and we're never going to be like those Phillies and get mad about attaboys. But what I will tell you is Circle K is a place for you to stop right now when you need to fill up your car and maybe grab yourself some lunch, get yourself something to drink. You can get down on their Inner Circle membership program for free right now by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for details. But when you do, you will get 25 cents off per gallon. I know the Circle K right out here is already some of the cheapest gas that you can find anywhere. I think it was like $2.79. And then you get another 25 cents off per gallon for your first 5 fill-ups. You can also sign up for their Easy Pay and then get another 10 cents off. Stack. Also, you'll get free items in their app like drinks, roller items, which are, a variety of things, hot dogs, taquitos, all sorts of great things they have at Circle K for free just by being a Circle K member. So join that today. Also, if you want to make some more money, save some more money, you can do so by banking with Desert Financial Credit Union. For more than 84 years, Desert Financial has been Arizona's largest, most trusted local credit union. They helped me get started on my home ownership journey, which I'm very thankful for. Except times like this where it's very rainy and stormy and I have a lot of stuff to fix. I got a plumber coming to my house today. It's not great, right? Home ownership sometimes is a hassle, but I love my house. I'm so glad I have it, and I don't know what I would do paying some of these crazy rental prices out there. So make sure if you want to get started on your home ownership journey, you can start with Desert Financial. They have checking and savings accounts, loans, credit cards, investment options, and so much more. Join a credit union that is committed to giving back to the community and sharing success with its members. When you open a free checking account right now, you can get $200 in bonuses. Get started by visiting desertfinancial.com/200. Jesse, you got very nerdy with your annual 2024. It's an annual survey now.
Fan surveys are not that nerdy, Derek. Come on.
Him going over the data, it was disgusting. It was gross. We talked about what him and the Baseball Savant website when he wasn't here. You guys know about that. But he very much enjoyed asking all of you your thoughts and getting all of that information together. Speaking of aggregating, right? This is aggregating data. And Jesse really wanted to dig in to see what you, the fans, thought about this team, what they did during the offseason, who your favorite players are, and so much more.
Really, Jesse wanted pie charts.
I wanted pie charts.
Like bad. And I didn't get them.
He was begging for pie charts, guys.
You guys see this guy on the show all the time. Maybe the most frustrated he gets is with me at times. You have no idea the anger, the furor that Jesse, the levels of anger he gets to over not getting his pie charts. But
we should have a quote graphic that says, "Everybody loves a pie chart."
Everybody loves a pie chart. And it's just Jesse. Yeah, because he said that at one point.
It's true, Derek.
He said it multiple times.
People love pie in general, and pie charts.
That is true.
They just beckon memories of the
There's
last
some Circle K pies right over there. They're not the
That's-
shape that you're looking for, but now
that's
that you're
true.
talking about pie, I want a pie. Okay, so go ahead. Go on with your thing. I'm hungry now.
All right. So question number 1 was, how many games will the Diamondbacks win in 2024? Damon has a handy graphic here that shows results from said question. And here we are. We got nearly 800 responses to this. So there's a decent sample behind all of this. Really appreciate everyone who filled out this survey.
Heck yeah.
So yeah, how many games will the Diamondbacks win in 2024? There were 6 different buckets. We have 1.3% of people choosing 74 or less.
Attaboy.
0.6% 75 to 79.
Let's go.
6% 80 to 84. 46.1% 85 to 89. 39.6 for 90 to 94. And 6.4% of you are crazy enough to think the Diamondbacks will win 95 or more games in 2024. Maybe that's not so crazy.
Those are my favorite people. Those are my favorite
You were
people.
probably one of those.
I was
people,
not.
I'm going to
I was
guess.
the 85 to 89 bucket, which I felt like was fairly reasonable.
Sure.
What I'm surprised about here is not more votes for 80 to 84. You guys are true fans here. Like, everybody thinks they're going to win 85 games or more, pretty much, it seems like, and that's cool. I hope that's the case. I
mean,
hope
the Diamondbacks won 84 games last year, right? So if you voted in the 85 to 89 bucket or higher, you are expecting the Diamondbacks to win more games in 2024 than 2023, and over 90% of you were in that category, and I can understand that for sure.
I just expected more naysayers. I expected more negativity. Thunderbolt. Where's Thunderbolt? Is Thunderbolt in there? Thunderbolt has to be in the 70 to 74
As
range.
long as Tori's the manager.
Yeah, this team's cooked as far as he's concerned.
Well, we will get to people's thoughts on Tori here in a moment. But our next question was, who is your favorite current Diamondbacks player? And this was also a fun one. Obviously, I expected Corbin Carroll to be number one. That was, in fact, the case. But there were a lot of other guys getting votes. Corbin was number one at 37.7%. Gabby Moreno coming in at number two, 14.9% of the vote. Then it was Patel at 11.9%. Alec Thomas comes in fourth here at 8.9%. Zach Gallen at fifth, 6.6%. And then we had over 150 votes for other players as well. That took up 20% of this question.
That is interesting. It's interesting to me. Gabriel Moreno, no surprise. I'm surprised that Lourdes didn't have enough votes to make really an impact on this.
I have the full list here in front of me. Lourdes was seventh. Christian Walker came after Gallen at 6. Lourdes was seventh with 3.4% of the vote. Then it goes Kevin Ginkel, Merrill Kelly, Geraldo Perdomo. That's your top 10 right there.
You got two essentially rookies leading the way as far as who are the Diamondbacks' best players, or favorite players. Diamondbacks fans' favorite.
How many Jerry P guys are there?
We have 17 votes for Geraldo Perdomo, 2.3%.
The Jerry P brigade.
Other players receiving multiple votes: Jake McCarthy, Brandon Pfaadt, Joe Mantiply, Paul Sewald, Tommy Henry, Dre Jameson, Ryan Nelson, and Paven Smith.
What about Christian Walker?
Joe Mantiply?
Christian Walker, I said him earlier. He was sixth. He was right behind Zach Gallen.
That's the Bang Bang Gang right there. That's the Christian Walker fans are the Bang Bang Gang.
I'm sorry. Who on earth said Joe Mantiply was their favorite Diamondbacks player? His family?
Maybe.
I respect it. I respect it. We also had one vote for Jordan Lawler and one vote for Joe Mather, which that one I haven't quite figured out what happened there. But
that's got to be Don's bread. No, he voted for Paven for sure.
The question specifically says favorite player. Yep. I probably should have thrown out the vote for Joe Mather entirely, but yeah, someone's a big Joe Mather fan. So
that has to be Joe Mather himself.
I respect it. Our next question was, how would you grade the Diamondbacks offseason? Certainly expecting pretty positive feedback here. D and F were in fact options, although no one picked either of them, which I was not surprised by. So we have 39.7% of you saying A, 55.9% giving the Diamondbacks a B, and then 4.1% C. Derek, any surprises here?
No surprises, though. I think is Jacob over here patting himself on the back for his graphics? Because I'd like to point out that as we get to some of these, the highlighted number makes 0 sense. At one point, it was the best thing or the one that got the most, but then he just went rogue at one point and started making random things. So I don't know how much patting on his back he should be doing. But yeah, no, I mean, I think that is a very solid mix. I think B is a good grade. That's probably where I voted at. You know, like, you can't say it's perfect because they didn't get everything done, but you get that DH done, and we might be talking about an A for sure. And again, it's just exciting for them to have built enough on the team that went to the World Series for fans to be this excited about the moves they made during the offseason, right? It really shows that they're building and that fans are excited about what they're building.
Yeah, I'd be really curious if the Diamondbacks do sign a Jorge Soler, a JD Martinez, a Rhys Hoskins. I would love to put this poll out maybe just on Twitter and see what the results are. I imagine that we'd get like 70+% of people giving the Diamondbacks an A for the offseason at that point. I mean, I don't know realistically what more you were really looking for. Along those lines, our next question, which free agent hitter do you want the Diamondbacks to sign most? No surprises here. JD Martinez is at the top of the list.
JD Martinez.
61.3% of people said JD Martinez. Jorge Soler, who we just talked about, at 19.6%. Rhys Hoskins in third place there at 7.3%. Justin Turner at 5.4%. And then we had just over 6% of people select someone else.
This reminds me of when I watch a reality show and it's down to the final 4 people. And I'm like, you know what? I'm okay with 3 out of these 4 winning. So that means the one I hate is going to win it. And that's why Justin Turner is going to be our next DH.
How dare you?
I don't want that, Damon. I don't want it. But I'm just saying that's the way that things work out for me. JD Martinez, that's an overwhelming amount for him. I'm actually surprised about that because I do feel like from what I've seen from a lot of people, their response is that they're leaning towards Soler. I think they like,
or at least they're like very happy with Soler.
Oh
too.
yeah, no, I think people would probably be happy once again when you talk about that grade and how getting a DH would impact it. I feel like any of those four would impact it enough for Diamondbacks fans to feel like they got an A during the offseason. But I know that people probably aren't nearly as excited about Justin Turner as they are about those other three choices.
Yeah.
Which really, it's just about the team getting better. And Justin Turner does, in fact, make this team better. It's just really about, what he's going to cost in relation to what those other guys are going to cost. And I would rather have one of those other guys.
We had several write-ins for Cody Bellinger. There were probably 3 or 4
Hometown
of those.
Why not?
Let's see what else there was in here. Someone said trade for Josh Naylor, which the question specifically says free agent hitter.
Can't follow the rules.
Some people can't follow the rules, but not really.
Okay,
yeah, that really
throw that
shouldn't
answer
count.
out. Sorry.
We probably should have thrown that out, but not a totally unreasonable suggestion. We may talk about Josh Naylor at some point on the show, even though I don't expect that to happen. But let's go ahead and move on to our next question, which was the aforementioned, how do you feel about the job that Torey Lovullo has done as Diamondbacks manager? Certainly strong approval ratings here, Derek. No surprises. 53.6% approve, 33.8% strongly approve. So that's almost 90%, with pretty positive feedback there for Torey Lovullo. We did have 10.1% neutral, 1.9% said they disapprove, and 0.6% said they strongly disapprove.
How do you strongly disapprove?
That I don't know.
How do you strongly disapprove? Again, that's got to be Thunderbolt.
I think that's probably like 3 or 4 people.
And there are, how many respondents we do get that, right? Like we get some, and I'll say it. I'll take the strong stance and say it's a ridiculous response when I see people saying fire Lovullo, like as if he's the direct reason why. Like I know Torey Lovullo does not manage this team in the way that people like all the time, but Torey Lovullo knows exactly what he's doing when he manages during a 162 game season. He knows how much rest guys need. He knows what he needs to do. No, he's not sitting guys when they're hot on purpose just to piss all of us off. He really does have a method to his madness. And actually, it's usually road mapped out so far ahead of time that that's the reason why he sticks to it, regardless of how people are doing. He tends to be like, all right, I'm going to pencil you in after 50 games. You're going to have a day off or something like that. And that is, what he's going to stick to. But Torey's just a wonderful manager, and I don't know how you could strongly disapprove, especially of what he was able to do with this team in 2 of the seasons that he's been here as a manager. The way he has led this team, the way that he kind of gets these scrappy underdogs to be, the team that overcomes and achieves, and even if they don't ultimately win the World Series, which is the end goal, that is what you're supposed to do. You still have to applaud what he's been able to do given the roster he's been given over the years and the way that he's been able to lead this team to especially the mountaintop that they got to last year that nobody expected them to get to.
Would you guess that the approval ratings for Mike Hazen are better or worse than
I would guess better.
You are correct.
Okay.
Still very positive, like Torey's were very positive. But yeah, if we look at this question about Mike Hazen, how do you feel about the job that Mike Hazen has done in his 7 years as Diamondbacks general manager? Very positive here as well. Strongly approve up to 48.3% here. Approve 45.3%.
This makes sense.
And then neutral 5.9%, disapprove 0.5%, and not a single person said they strongly disapprove here.
I get this is what I expected to see more for Torey, but I understand it because Torey's maneuvers day in, day out, they get scrutinized, and sometimes you can get it stuck in your head after a stretch that you really do think he's a bad manager, and that's how you view him, whether the team does well or doesn't do well, right? But you got to, I think the perception with the Arizona Diamondbacks is that they have no money at all, right? And Mike Hazen is like a chef that can make, just this amazing meal out of nothing. I went on and on to you about the fact that I went to a place the other night, Jesse. I'm not going to give away a free ad because I know Max would kill me for that. But they used a fried hamburger bun as a dessert They put sugar and cinnamon on it. They added some Nutella on top. They put a little orange zest, a little sea salt, a little
a fried hamburger bun,
cherry like compote on top. Yeah, they elevated the shit out of a fried hamburger bun. And again, it's what you can do sometimes with the ingredients that you're given. Mike Hazen is not necessarily given this huge budget to go out there and get the best talent that money can buy. However, he has been backed, like he was able to put together a roster good enough to do what they did last year. And now that they have seen what he has done, it feels like they are empowering him this offseason with those finances that we've kind of been dying to see him put out there to go out there and make this team better and try to replicate what they did last year. I'll just say, though, at times teams spend money just to spend money, right? And it's like you can't just always be happy that your team's spending money when they're spending it the way like the Mets did and it ends up being a complete disaster, right? So you got to give credit where credit is due, and Mike Hazen doesn't have that kind of budget, yet he is still able to bring this team, together. So it's been impressive.
Yeah, I feel like both the questions about Torrey and Mike, there's a ton of recency bias in this, right? I mean,
of course.
It all depends on when you ask these questions.
I would take a bullet for both of these guys right now.
Coming off of run to the World Series, I'm not at all surprised that, the ratings here are as positive as they were. If the D-backs, have 2 bad weeks to start the season or something, and we take this poll again,
I'm not taking a bullet
the numbers probably
I'm not
tank.
doing that,
So we'll see how this evolves over time. But the next one is, which player do you want the Diamondbacks to extend the most? Everyone thinks it's going to be Zach Gallen, and yes, it is Zach Gallen.
Of course.
Came out on top here. Gallen at 53.9%. Gabby Moreno, though, in second place at 26.8%, which was higher than I expected it to be.
Definitely.
Christian Walker in third at 11.8%. Merrill Kelly, who has a couple more years of time with the Diamondbacks before he hits free agency, he's in fourth at 6.5%. And then in the other category, we had 1% there as well.
Yep, absolutely. And Gabriel Moreno, again, that just shows how people are not only in love with these young players, that they've become huge fans of theirs, but that's a priority. Like, keeping that young core together, like, feels like it's becoming more of a priority than even keeping someone like Christian Walker around. And now that might also be recency bias as well, because I know that a lot of people were kind of upset with Walker's play during the postseason and really felt like he was, that piece that was missing during the World Series. But I don't know. I mean, I think that, again, all of those guys are very important. It would be just great. It would be great to see him pull a Braves move and just extend every one of those guys on that list. Merrill Kelly's interesting, though, because I don't feel like we talk about him enough. And I don't know, like, even if Merrill Kelly was to be extended, how long you're going out on Merrill Kelly considering his age.
It's a good point. Yeah, Merrill Kelly right now, 35 years old. He turned 35 in October.
So he'll be 37 at the end of his current contract.
So he would be 37 at the end. Yeah, and it's do you want to extend Merrill Kelly through age 39, age 40? I would be kind of surprised if the Diamondbacks wanted to do that at this point. I could maybe see next offseason if he gets Cy Young votes in 2024 as another fantastic season, maybe entering next offseason, you're like, hey, we're going to not only pick up the club option for 25, but we want to sign you for 2026 as well. I could maybe see them tacking on one more year, but yeah, you're not talking about like a 4 or 5 year deal with Merrill Kelly at this point. Elise asked who were the other 1%, which is kind of interesting. There were a few write-ins here. Someone wrote in Alec Thomas, Kevin Ginkel was mentioned, Geraldo Perdomo, Paul Sewald also mentioned here, as well as Jordan Lawler. Jordan Lawler would be, obviously bullish to extend him at this point. But I mean, we've seen teams sign big extensions to guys that they haven't even seen at all in the majors. The Brewers, of course, just did that with Jackson Chourio.
They want that Corbin Carroll move. They want to do it before he breaks out, so that it doesn't end up costing them way more money.
Corbin feels a little bit more of a can't miss guy than Jordan Lawler does, though.
I think there's some truth to that.
Yeah. I mean, but I wouldn't have thought that when Corbin Carroll got drafted, honestly. Like, I didn't.
But that was more throughout the minors. Like, it just felt like that guy was like a superstar in the making, especially his call-up the year before. He hit pretty well.
He sped through the minors faster than any human being I've ever seen in my life.
Agreed. And so I'm saying that he's on a different planet.
Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah, because you're saying the speed in which he made it to the majors when he's here already, it's like, yo, we need to sign this guy.
I mean, Jordan Lawler Lawler made it to the majors at a younger age. I mean, Jordan Lawler is still younger now than Corbin Carroll was when he made his big league debut.
It was in part due to necessity of
a little bit
cutting Nick Ahmed rather than
whereas
necessity
Corbin,
of like trying to find some answer at shortstop against lefties. Yes, I don't know if Jordan Lawler gets that call up in other scenarios, but Paul Sewald, I think that's a reasonable suggestion. I mean, Sewald only has one more year, and the Diamondbacks don't have a closer beyond 2024 at this point. There are certainly, you could talk about Kevin Ginkel moving into that role for sure, but there aren't any super clear answers in that regard at this point. So I thought that was a reasonable suggestion.
Ginkel mania runs wild.
Our next one is, where do you want the Diamondbacks to play long term? This, of course,
I'm guessing Henderson, Nevada got 0 votes.
Yeah, Henderson, Nevada did not get any votes. I don't think I had another category. I forced people to choose between renovated Chase Field or another stadium in the Phoenix metro area.
They said they're not leaving Maricopa County, right?
Yeah, I didn't even feel the need to put in something about Nevada or whatever, because the Diamondbacks have said that's not happening, and that wouldn't get any votes anyway. Renovated Chase Field, 80.3% of people said that they want the team to stay at Chase Field and just fix it up over time. The other 19.7% said they want a new stadium somewhere in the Phoenix metro area.
I'm going to give you one reason why I think it's important to keep Chase Field is the history and the fact that we in this town don't often have things that have stuck around for a while. You know what I mean? Like, all of our classic places here in town get demolished and replaced by something new. You know, there's all these memories. We have all these like, oh, come visit Metro Center and do a car drive around it for the last time, or like just staples of the Valley. When you go to other cities, there are restaurants and buildings and places and stadiums that have been around for 50, 60, 70, 80 years, and they're like a staple of that city. And like, we don't really have a lot of that here. I think that's fair. It's important to keep Chase Field, you know, as a relevant, you know, sports facility here in town for multiple reasons. I feel like it's still the most cost effective. Renovating that place is not
100%.
Going to cost you more money than building a goddamn new $1.5 billion stadium somewhere else. I just think that, you know, again, it's one of those things that is part of our history now. I mean, that's the reason why I felt like it was important for them to do what they did to America West Arena, which I'm going to call it that, and make it into whatever the hell it is now, Footprint Center. But like, I love that it's still that building. I've gone to that building my entire life. I've attended, you know, shows in that building. And I didn't want it to go the way of Veterans Memorial Coliseum, where it's just this thing that's there that nobody goes to anymore. I like...
I mean, taking down Chase Field would be quite an ordeal.
No, but
I have a feeling that it will stay there for a long time.
The stuff they're doing
no
downtown,
matter what the Diamondbacks do.
Hell no. They would smash that thing and make it into high-rise, high-rise apartments in no time.
You think it'd be a high-rise apartments?
It would be something. It would be
two?
some sort of thing where they could really juice as much money out of a centralized location like that in downtown Phoenix as possible. It'd probably be some sort of combo of office space and apartments or something.
Yeah.
But, you know, again, it's like I love the renovations that they did with the Footprint Center as well. And I felt like that was something that made me realize, like, you can do this. You can take Chase Field. You can change it. You can make some cool party deck areas, change some of the seating, make some of the suites different, and make it an alluring draw for people to want to come to. But most importantly, make it more alluring for the common person to attend baseball games. You know, again, like standing room only seats where there's actually places to stand where you're not going to get yelled at by an usher for being there, and things like that is what people want. They want to be able to attend these games cheap. I think that, you know, ballpark pass is a huge step in the right direction. But like, again, we weren't huge fans of them making FanFest an exclusive thing for season ticket holders. We do have something to talk about though in regards to that. But again, this is this building is just very important. I want them to stay there, just like 80+% of the people voting wanted them to stay there.
And it certainly sounds like that's the way things are trending. When we talked with Ken Kendrick just about a month ago now, he said that things are trending in that direction. That is the most likely outcome. Book is not entirely closed on that yet. We'll still have to wait and see when the Diamondbacks make a more official announcement. But Connor says it's an airplane.
That's my mantra too. It's an airplane hangar, but it's our airplane hangar. It might be an ugly building, but it's our ugly building.
There are some things that renovating Chase Field would not fix, and getting rid of the airplane hangar vibe would be difficult, I think. But yeah, there are things that you could do to that building that would make it a substantially better place.
Lean
to watch
into the
baseball
airplane
games.
hangar vibe, Jesse. Just have a helicopter come through the roof, straight right down on the center field, and drop off I don't know, Randy Johnson to throw out the first pitch on opening day. That would be fucking incredible. That'd be incredible.
There you go. All right, we've got two more. Next one, how confident are you in the Diamondbacks' overall direction? I was hesitant to even include this one because, people are probably pretty confident after the team was just in the World Series.
Idiot.
Yeah, we had 65.1% say very confident, 34% somewhat confident, 0.8% unsure, and not a single vote for not very confident or not confident at all.
I don't know how you couldn't be confident in the D-backs overall direction. We knew this team was, a team they're building towards in the future. We couldn't have expected them to do what they did last year and be there as early as they were. And it feels like the team is all in on improving, like I said earlier. And the moves are good too. Everybody feels good about those offseason moves. So, I mean, it's hard not to be confident when this team has developed a young core that is playing really good baseball right now. And they went into this offseason and made some really key additions to the weaknesses of this team. Starting pitching was good, but they just didn't have enough of it. And that third base situation was a goddamn nightmare, So it was like to now have a guy that started all 162 games for the Seattle Mariners at third base, or played at least all 162 games. I'm not sure if he started all at third, but a guy that played that much over there and able to handle, the hot corner like that. It just feels like this team is definitely moving in a better direction. And again, what better direction can you go than, appearing in the World Series last year,
I'm really curious what this would have looked like if the Diamondbacks had narrowly missed the playoffs or just,
question.
made it in the first round and then bowed out after that. I feel like the difference would be pretty significant. I do think there's quite a bit.
You think so?
I think there's quite a bit of recency bias going into this, but yeah, the question
if they didn't
is,
make the playoffs, it might have been different. But if they made the playoffs,
that's fair.
I don't feel like anybody would have been upset that they lost to the Brewers. It would have been a bit disappointing. You would say here we go again, getting into the playoffs, but not being able to do anything,
Yeah. And the question is, how confident are you in the team's overall direction? It's not like, do you think the team is going to make the playoffs next year or whatever? So yeah, I understand pretty much everyone being confident in the team's overall direction. Obviously, the Diamondbacks are trying to, build up a young core of players that can be here for a long time. And there's a lot of things to like about the team's direction in the bigger picture. So yeah, the fact that more than 99% of people said they were somewhat confident or very confident, no huge surprises there. The last question is kind of a fun one and an outrageous one. Will the Diamondbacks win the World Series in the next 10 years? Obviously, they got very close in 2023, weren't quite able to pull it out. 83.5%. Derek, say that the Diamondbacks are going to bring a title to the Valley in the next decade.
Just one? That's it? I voted for 3. Yeah, no, it's hard not to feel that way. How do you expect me not to feel this way? How did you not expect me to feel the Suns were going to go back the next year after they were in the finals against the Bucks and win the championship? How did you expect me not to feel that way? It sure didn't happen, but I still feel that way, and I still feel that way about this year's team after watching their comeback last night. But again, this isn't a Sun show as much as I want it to be. It's a Diamondback show, and I agree with this very much. I do think that the Diamondbacks will win the World Series in the next 10 years. I will say this. I say this confidently. I think that they, at the very least, will appear in more than one World Series in the next 10 years.
Wow.
2 or more.
Wow.
I'm delusional, Jesse, and you know that.
Yeah, I had a feeling that after the team got to the World Series in 2023, that people would get a little greedy on this. Yes. I didn't quite see it going as high as about 84% of people. But I mean, 10 years is a fairly long time. A lot can happen in 10 years, both good and bad, right? On average, a baseball team, the chance that a given MLB team will win the World Series in a 10-year span is about a third. Just like mathematically, like if all the teams were equally talented and whatever. So yeah, it's not a totally outrageous thing. But I mean, the reality is, and we talked about this a lot after the World Series, once you get to that spot and you're not able to get over the hump and win the thing, it's really hard to get back to that spot.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Even if the Diamondbacks in 2024 do win 96 games or whatever, right? A whole lot of things can go right. And you still in the postseason, like maybe you get through the first round and then you hit a roadblock and you can't find your way into the NLCS or whatever.
Maybe they're undone by their own, hoisted by their own petard, if you will. Next year, maybe they have a good regular season and then some upstart team that barely makes it in gets hot at the end and sweeps them or whatever. The Diamondbacks did that exact thing, and it's the flaw of the playoffs. But yeah, it's too random. It's not like other sports where you can feel like a team is set to be like a contender for a number of years.
Like the Suns are title contenders, and it almost doesn't matter what happens in the. I mean, they need to make the playoffs, but after that, the Suns are like they're okay. They can win the thing. The D-backs, it's different, and it's different in baseball. The field is large, and it's not as top heavy. If you have a few star players, that doesn't do for you in baseball what it does in other sports.
The good thing about the experience that these young guys got this particular year is seeing that sometimes things aren't going to go right. Sometimes you're going to have your ups and downs during the season. You're going to have your Julys. And then all you got to do is make the playoffs.
Hopefully for the Diamondbacks, they don't ever have a July again.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, right? You can see that like just like in life, just like as a hitter, right? Like you're going to go through your struggles and you're going to bounce back, but you got to keep a certain mindset because it's part of the game. And I think them experiencing the fact that they just got in to the playoffs, but were still able to make that magic happen during that run. It's just something that will stick with them, that like, hey guys, as long as we can make it in, as long as we can get there, anything can happen. And that's a good attitude to have. But like usually you're seeing that from like an outside perspective. You don't get the chance to experience it yourself and be like, hey, remember what we did? Like we can do that again, right? So like it feels like whenever they kind of need that experience of making a run and just getting to the playoffs and allowing that anything can happen factor, is that they've done it. That's a very that instills a lot of confidence in you. I will say though that this was exciting. I love these results, and I'm very excited about the way that Diamondbacks fans feel about this team next year. That's something that's exciting. Hopefully we'll see the fans support this team, because that's the key ingredient that's missing right now, is that fan support out at games. But I will tell you, we are doing our takeover event out at the pool in July. Speaking of Julys, we're going to make this July a lot better by having our takeover at the pool. So, of course, if you are a diehard member, you will get a discount on joining us at the pool. If you are not a diehard member, join us now over at gophnx.com. You will get a free t-shirt of your choice over at the phnxlocker.com, but you will also get discounts on events like that takeover. You also get all access to all of our content, all of Jesse's articles, get access to our Discord lounge where we are doing some exclusive diehard only content, including Squeeze Play, our fun game show that we are doing with diehards, and of course, city council meetings where I'm going to fix all of your problems.
Do you need more contestants? I know Cogs is one.
Cogs is already secured. Yeah, it's going to be 3 contestants per episode. Winner will win a PHNX shirt of their choice. So
I want a PHNX shirt.
You don't get to participate.
I want to
for that
play.
Exact reason. We'll see what happens. I might throw Elizabeth in there because she said she's camera shy. I know she said that earlier, and she's also said earlier the flaw of Jesse's survey is that he did not ask what color we should dye, or we think Derek should dye his hair. Now, I like my hair actually being on my head instead of in my sink. So
That's boring, Derek.
Can we not dye my hair blonde anymore?
Hair on your head is overrated. Everyone knows
it's so
this.
traumatic to my scalp. Of course, there's all these are good reasons to be a diehard, but of course, if you haven't signed up yet, make sure to do so. Go sign up at gophnx.com. You also get discounts with our partners. So join our family today. Another great place, another friend of ours is our friends over at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. And it is a great time for a staycation. Of course, it is for us because we are about to go back to full-time work where we are going to be very, very busy. Not to say this isn't a full-time job, but you get it. We hang out here in the office. We give Damon crap about his, entire university falling apart. We have fun here, basically, is what I'm saying. But sometimes you need a break. And of course, we don't have a lot of time to take vacations before the regular season is here. So we are going to check out Gila River Resorts and Casinos, and you can too. They offer an authentic and immersive experience, and it is a great place for a staycation or a night out with your friends. It has an unprecedented level of entertainment and excitement you won't find anywhere else. And their state-of-the-art gaming floor has it all, with over 800 slot machines, 15 blackjack tables, live gaming tables, and of course, the biggest, Arizona's largest casino sportsbook. So make sure to check them out. Head to Gila River Resorts and Casinos and let them show you what the next level is all about. You do you at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Visit play@gila.com for more details. And also, another fun way to make sports even more fun is with our friends at BetMGM. You can make some money at Gila River, and you can make some money at BetMGM. Download the Sportsbook app now, or go to visit betmgm.com and sign up and deposit at least $5 into your newly created account. When you do, using our promo code of PHNX, you will get $158 in bonus bets, regardless of the outcome of your first wager. All you have to do is place a wager in the amount of at least $5 at standard odds price. Again, sign up for BetMGM and use that bonus code of PHNX. Place your first BetMGM Sportsbook wager through the Sportsbook mobile application for at least $5. You will receive $150 instantly in additional winnings, regardless of your wager's outcome. Check out the show notes for full details. And now listen to Dame and talk about the disclaimer.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in the U.S. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369 New York. Call 1-800-327-5050 Massachusetts. 21 plus to wager. Please gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP Arizona. 1-800-BETS-OFF Iowa. 1-800-270-7117 for confidential help Michigan. 1-800-981-0023 Puerto Rico in partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel. Visit BetMGM.com for terms. This promotional offer is not available in New York, Nevada, Ontario, or Puerto Rico.
Announced that he was leaving.
Puerto Rico. You missed that one because you're so busy talking about Damon. And Damon's disclaimer is so fast, we don't have time to talk while our microphones are muted. But Jesse has things he wants to talk about that I have no interest in. And of course, that's the Dodgers. Jesse wants to discuss the Dodgers signing James Paxton to give them a little bit of depth there. And they signed Paxton to a 1-year, $12 million deal plus incentives. His Fangraphs had him projected at 1 year, $8 million. So of course the Dodgers overpay to get him, but he was not very, very bad in his last 16 starts last year, Jesse.
Well, it was first 16 starts.
Oh, his first 16.
Really
what
sorry. Was
his last,
the way he ended the season.
Last 16 is where he struggled.
Not so good.
Yeah.
His first 16 starts in 2023, Paxton was 7-3 with a 3.34 ERA. Very good strikeout rate, very good walk rate, 1.14 WHIP. He was a good pitcher in the first half for the Boston Red Sox. We talked about him on this show as a potential target for the Diamondbacks in the second half of the season. Turns out it was good that the Diamondbacks did not trade for James Paxton, and it worked out for other teams like the Dodgers that were reportedly interested in Paxton at the time. The Red Sox probably should have traded him and gotten some sort of value, but he wound up having a really rough second half, finished the year with a 4.50 ERA. But yeah, this basically rounds out the Dodgers rotation. The final move of their rotation. They've certainly done a lot in that regard. I actually think this is it. I actually think that it's going to be,
because if they pick up anybody else, what are they going to do with the other stars?
Yeah, there wouldn't actually be room for that person anymore. So yeah, Yamamoto, Glasnow, Buehler, Bobby Miller, James Paxton is on paper how the Dodgers would line up to start the season. They also have Emmett Shea and Ryan Yarbrough, Gavin Stone among their options available for depth.
That doesn't scare me. None of that scares me.
I think it's a little outrageous if that doesn't scare you, but I guess I'm glad for your optimism, like some of our survey respondents.
It's not great. It's not great. That's definitely not great. But yeah, I mean, it's what we have to deal with. And again, then what we have to deal with after that is that James Paxton's replacement is Shohei Ohtani in that starting rotation.
Correct.
So
yes, it's not far away. Walker Buehler is. It is slated to become a free agent after 2024, so theoretically he would slide out. Clayton Kershaw, I guess there's maybe a chance that the Dodgers still bring back Clayton Kershaw.
Yeah, Ryan Page asked, does this mean their Kershaw era is over?
Yeah,
it definitely means his ERA is over. That's the era. Anyway, I will say that there is definitely some value in like maybe the Atlanta Braves picking up Kershaw just to spite the Dodgers, just to hurt them.
I've been saying this. Yeah. Like, I feel like you could get him at probably a decent price.
Yeah, I mean, he's only gonna pitch for about 2-3 months probably.
He was great before he got hurt last year. Yeah, great.
Yeah, he was still very productive. It was like 24 starts of a sub-3 ERA. His FIP was quite a bit higher than his ERA, but he's Clayton Kershaw, and that just feels like it doesn't really matter at this point.
Shut him down in the postseason.
Yeah, yeah, he's
just a regular season.
He's strictly like I mean, he's he's just had like a pretty significant shoulder procedure.
Yeah,
so if you're shutting him down in the playoffs, he's basically like an August and September pitcher. Like you're getting like 8 weeks playing Kershaw at that point.
We're getting 8 weeks of a Cy Young level pitcher, and then we're shutting him down.
And then he gives everybody in the rotation a little bit of a break. Everybody can kind of rest a little bit, and then get ready for the playoffs.
He's giving you 6-7 innings. The bullpen's getting a nice rest.
Yeah.
I
just want to hurt Dodgers fans. That's all I want to do.
I think the Paxton thing is interesting because you look at his ERA from last year, and where he ended the season was not good. I mentioned he struggled in the second half. When healthy, James Paxton is still, I think, one of the better pitchers out there. I thought about James Paxton as an option for the Diamondbacks before they made the Eduardo Rodriguez move. He's not reliable innings really at this stage in his career. There are some real durability concerns there. But man, when he's right, he's throwing 97 miles an hour from the left side.
3.34 ERA, a 3.69 expected FIP, 26.3% strikeout rate. Like, these numbers are incredible.
Yeah, his first half was very, very good in 2023, and we all know what happens when pitchers or players who are perceived to be washed sign with the Dodgers. They tend to be not washed anymore. So we'll see what happens with James Paxton in LA.
Stay tuned for that. He'll probably be the best pitcher in that starting rotation. Well, we do have news about maybe a potential replacement, not for Shohei Ohtani, but a replacement for FanFest, because it would appear that this Saturday, the Arizona Diamondbacks are holding the Serpientes Fiesta at Chase Field. And this Fiesta is open to the public. And of course, it's absolutely free, right, Jesse?
It is not free.
Oh, my God.
Tickets are $20. VIP is $75.
What do I get for VIP? An actual Serpiente?
I'm not entirely sure
that
what
has
you
to
get
come
for VIP.
With a Madison Bumgarner Serpiente jersey for free, right? That's how they're
they
the
might have
some
some extra ones that they need to push. So
with $75, what are we doing here?
Yeah,
I do know Gabriel Moreno is going to be there. Does that involve, as a VIP, Gabby dyeing your hair purple? Because if maybe we're talking.
Maybe, yeah. I did see the Gabby Moreno is expected to be there. I think, like, sign some autographs, take some pictures. I don't know if VIP is part of that or gets you into that or what the deal is there. But yeah, music performances starting at 7 p.m. this Saturday. The event begins a few hours earlier at 4 p.m. There are World Series and National League trophy opportunities, photo opportunities.
Man.
So I guess if you want your picture taken with 2023 thing, doesn't look quite like the 2001 thing, but still cool, right? Still a cool thing to have your picture taken with.
Saturday is the Royal Rumble, Jesse. I won't be anywhere except in front of a TV taking my friend's money, but that does sound like a good time. It does also seem like this was kind of thrown together pretty hastily, because I don't remember hearing about this prior to this. I might have missed it, but
yeah, we might have missed it. I don't know.
It just seemed to kind of come together pretty quick, and here it is, this Saturday. So I just wonder if it is a replacement for that. I mean, it's going to be outside, so you're not going to get to go to Chase Field. It's going to have like food trucks and stuff like that.
Yeah, Valley favorite food trucks, Low Rider Legacy car show.
Oh, that's awesome.
For those of you who are into that.
Hey, my brother's car will be in there.
Baxter and Legends Racers will also be present. So I have some in Craig Morgan, Max Simpson, Michaela Perkins, and Jacob Franklin to be there.
That's who. That's where they're going to be. That's perfect. But if you are a fan, make sure to check that out. Especially if you are missing out on FanFest and want to go celebrate. I will tell you that you'll be able to be right there in the presence of that beautiful National League Champions banner that's out front. So if
Gonzo's walking with a limp, you'll know why. Legend Gonzo, that is. Not maybe actual Gonzo.
If Gonzo's walking with a walker, it's Craig Morgan underneath that mask. But we do appreciate you guys checking us out, of course. You can make sure to follow us on Twitter. I am at @cap_caveman with a K. This absolute maniac next to me is at Jesse N. Friedman. The People's producer, Damon. You can get him at Damon Dog. That's DAWG. We are Damon's dogs. Bark, bark. Of course, our show is at PHNX_DBacks, but all roads do lead to at PHNX_sports on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. We thank you guys so much for your time. We appreciate you stopping by. And remember, kids, baseball, it's fun, but it's so much more fun when you get over JT Martinez and just accept Jorge Soler.
We all silly like the mayor.